and our main news this morning is that Nigel Farage is going to pledge today to leave the European Convention on Human Rights, repeal the Human Rights Act and scrap anything acting as a roadblock to throwing people out of the country for deportations.
Well, it's part of Reform UK's plan to tackle the small boats crisis. It comes just hours after GB News exclusively revealed that almost 900 people crossed the Channel over the bank holiday weekend.
Well, let's get the take from political commentator Piers Bollinger. Piers, honestly, it seems to me as if Farage is speaking a language that people want to hear.
Yes, absolutely. And it's no ifs, no buts. It is radical. It's absolutely crystal clear what he's going to do. Now, there are questions about the new British rights bill he's thinking of bringing in. This isn't a new idea. Dominic Raab tried it and failed to bring it in because of technical legal issues. And there's no doubt that there are one or two aspects of what Nigel Farage is talking about that needs clarification and also need work on to make sure it doesn't immediately come up against other legal hurdles. However, basically, he is saying what the bulk of the majority of the electorate want to see, and that's no nonsense and stopping this once and for all. Britain is full. It's full to the brim, and this is the only way to sort out the problem.
But the way, surely, of stopping this and getting in the way of his plans is the lawyers.
Yes.
What is he going to do about the lawyers?
Well, that's a good question. And I think he will say today, because he's hinted at it already, that he's taking every kind of legal advice he can to make sure that the way they structure this is watertight. And once it's passed by Parliament, it becomes law and therefore can't be tinkered with. Coming out of the European Human Rights Court is, I think, essential. The Conservatives have now admitted they're going to come out.
Well, not officially, but
they're probably. I mean, they haven't admitted anything yet because they're still doing a policy review a year after the election. It would help the Conservatives a lot in the polls if they came up with some policies.
But Piers, that leaves a distinct difference then with Sir Keir Starmer. Because he looks as though, as a lawyer himself, he looks as though he is on the side of the lawyers and not the people.
Well, yes, and now what is his latest plan is yet another kicking it into touch by setting up what he calls an independent commission. I don't know how it can be independent if the government's paying these people, but an independent commission to decide who should be sent home or deported back or sent away, and they are going to decide that as opposed to the courts. And apparently that's going to speed things up. But yet again, this is going to cost a huge amount of money. We've no idea who's going to be on this independent commission. Probably judges.
When they say yes to somebody, when they say, yeah, OK, you can stay, what does that mean? That this person and their family then have a right to be in Britain, that they're paid for, that they're set up, that they're given a house, that they're... Is that what it involves? Cost?
Absolutely. I mean, once they become British citizens, or they earn the right to be British citizens, they're entitled to all these benefits. And even before that, they get a lot of benefits. And I mean, the point is the welfare system, the education system, and the NHS are at breaking point because, to a large degree, of this absurd level of immigration we've now got. As I said, Britain is full. We can't cope with it.
It's interesting, though, the pressure inside Labour and the pressure on Keir Starmer. We had Lord Blunkett yesterday talking about suspending the ECHR. We've got Labour MPs talking about leaving the ECHR. I mean, is this just the direction of movement that we're heading in?
Well, I
all
think
parties are going to have to consider this.
I mean, Lord Blunkett seems to be speaking common sense. and I think the penny is finally dropped, even with Labour MPs, and many backbenchers are now realise, because their constituents are telling them in droves, this is the #1 issue in politics in this country. There's no question about it. And Farage is the only man, and the Reform the only party, who are talking about doing things that the electorate really want.
He's changed his tune, though, hasn't he, Nigel Farage? Because just last year, this is September 2024, he said it's not his ambition to deport large numbers of people. This direct quote, "It's pointless even going there. It's a political impossibility. We simply can't do it."
No.
So what's changed in the past year?
Well, I think that the hard facts and reality, and when you see people do talk about civil unrest, and that's a very dangerous thing to start talking about, because merely talking about it provokes it. But there's no question, when you see the kind of demonstrations going on around the immigrant hotels, that we are on the cusp of some very, very serious unrest in this country. And that is, I think, the major change. There is no question people are very angry, and justifiably so. Because
today, Farage will say, just in contrast to what that quote was you had, Ellie, he said the estimated population of people with no lawful right to remain in the UK now almost certainly stands above 1 million.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and we can't keep taking people like this. We're a small island. We're already a very crowded island. All our public services are at breaking point, or indeed broken. We simply cannot afford to do it.
Okay. Big day today, Suzanne, in terms of Nigel Farage and Reform UK. He has got big plans for mass deportations, migrants out of this country. What are you thinking about what's being previewed?
So basically, he's launching what he calls Operation Restoring Justice, which is to basically literally deport illegal migrants in Britain. It's that simple.
Well, can it be done? Is it that simple?
This is what he says it can be done. He says he's going to withdraw from the European Court of Human Rights. He's going to bring in a new Illegal Immigration Act to make it possible, and put the onus on the Home Secretary to make sure these deportations happen. And in fact, if the Home Secretary fails in making it happen, then it will technically be a breach of the law. He's also cracking down on asylum claims. He's saying if you come to this country illegally, you will not have asylum. End of story. And if you arrive in this country legally, you'll be put into a secure site. He's suggesting on military bases, saying that he will want to house 24,000 migrants within the first 18 months of a Reform government. Now, this is a massive shift for Nigel Farage. He used to be very much against deportations. And I think this, but he is also a man, I think, who's also very often in touch with what the majority of people are thinking. And so this shift for him, I think, also represents a shift for the whole country, that people are fed up of this. They've had enough of it. This year so far, we've had 28,300 people come across in boats, a 43% increase on the same time last year. And clearly, whether you support the Labour government or not, they have lost control of this issue. They have not smashed those gangs. Those gangs are operating with impunity, and the boats are not going to stop. Farage has been very straightforward. He writes today, he says, the time has come to put this country first. This is a question of priorities. Is Keir Starmer on the side of the British people, national security and protecting women and girls, or is he on the side of outdated international treaties and human rights lawyers? He's drawing this red line in the sand. He will be different.
He estimates now there's a population of about 1 million people with no lawful right to remain in the UK. Scarlett.
I can't see how this can work. I mean, so obviously, what should have happened is that the Labour government should have come in, known what the problem was, right, and
they've had 14 years to think about it.
And on day one, what they should have said is, right, we're going to double or treble the number of people who are sorting out claims, and we're going to be really tough on them, right, and the people who are not given asylum, we're going to send them straight back. back. And instead, we've still got the backlog. They have, I mean, they have increased it. But actually, the point is that Yvette knew what the problem was, Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary. She could see it. And the biggest problem, the reason there are so many people in hotels is they're waiting for their claims to go. It takes 2 or 3 years for a claim to go through. So
But they're setting up these new panels, aren't they, to deal with this?
Yeah, but this is a year on. This is what they should have done absolutely immediately. We knew that this was a problem. I don't know how many times I've been on your programme talking about asylum backlog. Now, if it's what Nigel Farage calls illegal migrants. The problem is there is no legal way of claiming asylum in this country.
That absolutely isn't true, Scarlett. There are hundreds of people who come here through safe and legal routes every year.
They are not.
The most obvious example that we all know about is Ukraine. There was a system put in place very quickly.
Yeah, and
It's a left-wing soundbite to say there are no
Suzanne, this is absolutely no. So there is Ukraine, right?
And Afghanistan.
No, Afghanistan actually was one of the great failures. And what the problem is there are people who are being deported from Pakistan because they're trying to get into Britain, because they're trying to find a legal route. I mean, you know, if you look at where the migrants are coming from, they're coming from Afghanistan because there isn't a legal route. So if you're Ukrainian, you're fine. If you're not, it is incredibly difficult to come in. So hold on.
So what are we supposed to do? Take the whole world in?
Just a minute. I began by saying we should be doing it properly. Of course, we shouldn't be taking the whole world in. I mean, actually, France takes many, many more. Germany takes many, many more. The thing is, it's a European problem that Europe has to deal with. It's fine for us to say, oh no, we won't take any boats. We won't take any boats. But actually, all you're doing is you're giving them back to France. It's a European problem. We need to deal with it properly. And there is absolutely no question that what are we really saying is we're not going to take refugees. And over half the people who come in and claim asylum come in, they fly. Right, this isn't just a small boats problem.
Well, ladies, I wanted to get your thoughts because I was struck by these images this morning on two of the right-leaning papers, it must be said, The Times and the Daily Telegraph. Thanks, Eamon. This morning, not only showing these small boat migrants making crossings across the English Channel yesterday, but they've decided to put pictures of children on their front page, and not only children, little girls dressed in pink. Now, it may just be a coincidence. What do you think of this, Suzanne? Does this change the narrative for you when you see children, little girls,
I don't think it does. What it says to
Britain?
me, actually, and this might sound terribly cynical, but it says, oh, someone's found a picture of a child or a woman. Oh, let's use that. That looks a bit different, because that's what the media is all about. That's what photography is all about. It's not about the same old. It's about finding something different. And the facts remain. The vast majority of people coming across on boats, 90% of them are male.
Okay.
Scarlett, does it change it for you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we have to understand that of course, Suzanne is right. 90% are male. I mean, I don't think... But actually, there are children on these boats. Can you imagine being a parent, putting your child onto that boat? I mean, what we always forget is the desperation of these people. And I mean, friends of mine who've worked in Calais say it is amazing. I mean, we are surprised at how, for them, coming to Britain is the way.
Yeah.
The thing.
Okay.
Sorry, I think any parent that's in safe France and puts their kid on a boat is a terrible parent.
Okay.
Sorry, I think I do.
Now, all the complaints there is about taxes, increased taxes, and politicians can't think of any way of raising money except to tax all of us into the ground. But here's a way. Fracking. And why don't we do it? It's an obvious way to gain money for the country, for all of us, all the problems that we're facing, and it just depends where you do it, I suppose. Suzanne, this is in the Mail today. Frack, baby, frack.
Yeah, this is another election policy from Reform UK. It's long been Reform UK, Brexit Party, UKIP before it, all supported fracking. And certainly UKIP used to have a policy that we should start fracking and use the income from it to set up a sovereign wealth fund, as Norway did with its natural gas and oil reserves, and did very well. I mean, Norway is a very wealthy country as a result of this, but of course we won't do it in this country. And as a consequence, we're having to import a lot lot of energy. Energy prices are very, very high.
And we're all getting
For
taxed.
many people, it does seem like a no-brainer. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
Well, so why is fracking banned? Because it was banned by the Tories, right, not by a Labour government, and it was banned because people are worried about it. I mean,
yeah, people are worried about that. Doesn't make people right.
No.
I mean, I read this nonsense that it's going to cause earthquakes and all sorts of stupid.
Well, the local people in around Blackpool, where there was fracking, were very, very frightened and wanted it stopped. Nowhere has there been fracking without local people.
Do it out in the North Sea or the Irish Sea or something like
in
that.
America, they did in America, and there's no. Well, they have earthquakes in America, obviously, but I don't believe.
Yeah, and obviously in America it's fine, and it's a big enough country that you can't go. But wherever fracking is talked about, the local population do not want it. So it's absolutely fine. They absolutely. I mean, and actually, you talk about a sovereign wealth fund. Yeah, it was a real missed opportunity when we had North Sea gas. And you're right. You go to Norway, and it is a rich country, and people. A friend of mine lost her husband. He died. She had a year of being a widow, right, with proper benefits. I mean, it is incredible how well off Norway is and how they look after their people.
Why can't we do it? Are we going to listen to a lot of people who think it's going to?
No, Norway didn't do it
world?
through fracking. What they did was when they had North Sea oil, right, they gave it to the people. We just let it all go. We didn't make any money out of North Sea oil.
I just think, Suzanne, politicians are completely devoid of ways of generating money. They have no idea of how to create wealth, and then they think tax. That's all we get.
And this is definitely the case of a Labour government, I think. I mean, Rachel Reeves came into office talking about growth. We've seen growth completely stymied. We're heading for stagflation now, is what we've got, not growth at all. And all they seem to think about for raising money is tax. It's completely counterproductive. And eventually, the camel's back is going to break, and we're not going to be able to pay any more tax. There's a limit to how much working people can pay. All this huge amounts of government spending, mostly on welfare and benefits for people who've never worked in their life.